you need to do is choose your starter Pokemon. So for me, I just press G, then it brings up this nice little starter selection screen, which really hasn't changed and still has the same selection of Pokemon it's had for a while. And because one of my favorite Pokemon is Turtwig, I'm going to choose a little Turtwig because it's adorable. Aren't you cute? Oh, you're so cute. Now, something I didn't really do in my previous video was go over the general basics of the UI. I think I didn't anyway. I have no idea. We have a Impish Turtwig, and it's obviously a grass type. It tells us the dex number, and it also tells us what ability it has. And then over here, we have all the various abilities we can select between the different abilities, and if we want to swap the abilities, they'll be here later on when we level up our Turtwig. And then here we have all of our special stats, which we can also buff later on if we really want to. You would not believe how much I get asked this question. How to swap between Pokemon? You just press your arrow keys. That's it. Just press the arrow keys, then you can throw the Pokemon out, and I have it set to my mouse, of course, because it's still Minecraft. You still have to do your traditional Minecraft things because Cobblemon does something very, very well. It's a very inclusive mod which utilizes regular vanilla materials in order to craft certain items. Dude, and welcome to my world of I'm going to teach you all the basics of Cobblemon. And if you look in here, we have some very special items. Because, of course, if you're going to start playing Cobblemon, you're going to need Pokeballs, you're going to need Great Balls, you're going to need Ultra Balls. And also, I highly recommend you use Quick Balls. These are my personal favorite Pokeballs in Cobblemon or in all of Pokemon because they're just so unbelievably useful. A 5 times catch rate on the first turn of battle. That is survival mode. We can go ahead and harvest a few of these and let's see. Oh, I got pretty lucky, actually. You get a nice little apricorn sprout, which is going to be very, very useful. We can replant this sprout and grow ourselves another tree, or we can just simply place the sprout against the tree. So that's pretty much what you should do when you first get into this world is collect your general Minecraft things, get your diamond armor and tools, and then start getting as many apricorns as you can and collect all the different types. You could probably just skip the earlier versions of the Pokeballs and just go straight to a gold farm and start getting ultra and quick balls. Now you may notice some other special items inside this chest, and one of those is a Pokédex. So say now you want to discover a brand new Pokemon, you just simply hold down right click on your mouse and then it will begin to scan the Pokemon, and now we can see it's a Rapidash and level 41. And then once you open up your Pokédex, you have your national, Rideable, which is something we'll get into later, Paldea, Hisui, Galar, Unknown. You get the point. You got all the different regions. And if I go ahead and select this Charmeleon, you can see we got a lovely little animation. We can play the Pokemon Cry, and then we can set the Charmeleon to different animation states in the Pokédex. Some other items you will most definitely need in your world. Firstly, you're going to need a PC. Like, you're definitely going to need one of these. You're definitely going to need a healing machine and a pasture block if you want to have some Pokemon roam your world. I also never went over this block last time. This is, of course, to operate your PC. You just click it, and then you can see we have a Pokemon box for all our Pokemon. And I've also got some other additional mods that I will go over later on. And if we say want to grab a Squirtle, we just pick it up, place it into our party, and now we have a Squirtle in our party. And this here is the pasture block, and it basically opens up like our PC, but if we grab a little Pikachu here, you can hear it has thrown the Pikachu out into the world, and now this Pikachu is just going to roam around. See, ready? Yay, look at that. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. How absolutely awesome. A white Eevee, so cool. But did you hear that new sound? There are brand new sound effects for shiny Pokemon. It's so mystical and magical, and then the further away you get from the Pokemon, you no longer hear it. And have done this beautifully is a brand new evolve animation. Typically, I don't remember what every single move does. However, this mod, what it allows you to do is it gives you a description of how much base power the move has, the accuracy, and what it actually does. Because if I don't know what it does, then I might end up using the wrong move. So, for example, I can see that all of these are a neutral effectiveness against this Bouffalont. the potions, I just want to briefly go over the fossils. So to create this restoration system, you're going to need a restoration tank, a fossil analyzer, and a data monitor. And how you use this is actually really simple. So if we just take this brush and this max revive here and an old amber, we'll use this just in case we don't get anything. We need to find some fossils to put into our fossil analyzer to actually grow our very own Pokemon. You first need to find yourself a fossil, and I'm not going to find anything here, am I? Because I just placed it. Yep, that's how it works. But anyway, you basically look for suspicious sand, you dig up the suspicious sand with your brush, and then you happen to get yourself a nice old amber fossil. You put the old amber fossil into here, and then you fill your tank. The tank is now completely full, and now we are going to be growing ourselves a Pokemon. And in 10 minutes to fully cook, we're going to go over the potions. And as you can see, we have the potion, the super potion, hyper potion, max potion, and full restore. Now, if you want to actually know how to do all of the potions, then I highly recommend that you go onto the Cobblemon wiki. It tells you literally everything you need to know about how to create these potions. However, I will just briefly show you how to get started. So if you, for example, want to make yourself a regular old potion, you're first going to need to get some water bottles. So we'll just go ahead and get 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe not. Oh, look at that. We got 3 bottles. Lovely. We pop our bottles into here, and then we grab ourselves a medicinal leek. And then we put the medicinal leek into here. And the medicinal leek we can get from any old waterbed or river, and they are super easy to obtain, because if I go ahead and harvest a few of these, you can see we get a bunch of them in return, and then we just simply replant them onto the water. And it's honestly, they're really easy to harvest. You get a lot of them every time, so I wouldn't worry about trying to get too many of these, because you will end up with hundreds of them before you know it. And now you can see it has created some medicinal brew. Then we can take our orange berry, and then we can pop it into boom, we have potions, baby. Works is you select your potion of choice, and then you just select your Pokemon. Now, something else that was also added, craft a revive stone, you need a honey bottle and some heal powder. And to get the heal powder, you need to find this revival herb and then pop it into a furnace to smelt it into the heal powder. And you can find the revival herbs in a lush caves. And how is our Aerodactyl doing? Look at that. Oh, that's so sick. I love this. Now, if you want to craft a max revive, you're going to need 3 revive stones, so it's pretty expensive, and a Vivichoke. And go ahead and punch, you get yourself a Vivichoke. You can find Vivichoke seeds in villages and in all kinds of places. They are honestly absolutely everywhere. So Pokeballs, this is where I'd say skip the orange berries and go straight to citrus berries. If you make a regular potion, you can't upgrade that into a hyper potion. You just simply put a citrus berry in, and then you get a hyper potion straight away, and then you can upgrade that hyper potion into the max potion and the full restore. System is you can use any Pokeball you want to select your Pokemon. So if I want to get this Aerodactyl with an Ultra Ball, boom, I now have myself a level 1 Aerodactyl. You just get yourself a backpack mod. You can recommend that you install something like Terralith Fishing. Yep, Cobblemon added fishing. So to get yourself a Pokerod, you're going to need a fishing rod, the smithing template Pokerod upgrade, which you can find in your usual place for smithing templates, and a Pokeball. Then we simply pop them into a smithing table, and you can see we get ourselves a Pokerod with a great ball